Here we have a bar chart which says the percentage of total expenditure of a company under various expense heads during 2003. Study the graph and answer the questions that follow. Then you have various heads of expense here: infrastructure, transport, advertising, taxes, R&D, salary and interest. First question, the expenditure on the interest on loans is by what percent more than the expenditure on transport? How much is the expenditure on interest on loans? 17.5. And how much is the expenditure on transport? That is 12.5. So this is interest, this is transport, 12.5. Question is, how much more is this? By what percent more is this? This difference is 5. So question is 17.5 minus 12.5 divided by 12.5. That is the question. Is equal to into 100. That is the percentage. So let's see, 5 divided by 12.5. That is 40%. So here is the answer. Next, what is the ratio of total expenditure on infrastructure and transport to the total expenditure on taxes and interest on loans? So you have transport and infrastructure. So transport was 12.5, infrastructure is 20. So transport plus infrastructure is 12.5 plus 20, that is 32.5. And the next one, taxes and interest. Tax is 10, interest is 17.5. Taxes plus interest, that is 10 plus 17.5, that is 37.5. Sorry, 27.5. So what is the ratio of these two? 32.5 and 27.5. That is the ratio that is to be calculated. So here we have 5.25 is to 5.25, 6.2. 6.25 is to 5.25. So fair enough, I just double this off. This becomes 12.5 if I double it off, and this becomes 10.5. The nearest 12.5 to 10.5, the nearest is 13:1. So that is the answer. The next question, if the expenditure on advertisement is 2.1 crores, then the difference between the expenditure on transport and taxes is, that's a very complicated one. The question, I am reading the question again. If the expenditure on advertisement is 2.1 crores, advertisement expense 2.1 crores, then difference between expenditure on transport and taxes is how much? If expenditure on advertisement is 2.1 crores, what is the percentage? 15%. So if 15% is 2.1 crores, then 100% is how much? First you have to find out the total expenditure. So if you find out the total expenditure, it will be 2.1 into 100 divided by 15. So that will give you 2.1 into 100 divided by 15. So total expenditure is 14 crores. Next, how much is the transport expenditure? Then this is total the advertisement. So total you have 14 crores. Transportation is 12.5%. 12.5% of 14 crores. That is 12.5 12.5% of 14 crores is 1.75 crores. And taxes are 10%. So tax is 10% of 14 crores. That is pretty simple, 1.4 crores. The difference between these two is 0.35 crores. 0.35 crores is nothing but 35 lakhs. There is the answer, 35 lakhs. That is D. Next question, total amount of expenditures of a company is how many times the expenditure on research and development. So let's see how much is the R&D expense. R&D expense is 5%. R&D expense is 5%. So 5% of 14 crores happens to be 70 lakhs. So what is the question? Expenditure. If anything 5% of anything is 20 times. So this is 20 times. Simple. 20 times. This is the answer. Now, if the interest on loans amounted to 2.45 crores, then the total amount of expenditure on advertisement, taxes and R&D is. Now, we'll go a little bit backwards, find out what happens to the interest on loans. Interest on loans happens to be, let's take it here, interest on loans is 17.5%. 17.5% is how much? 2.45 crores. 2.45 crores. So 100% is how much? So 2.45 into 100 divided by 17.5. 2.45 into 100 divided by 17.5. That is 14 crores. So the idea of doing this is to find out whether the total is the same. When the total is the same, then it becomes easier for us. Then what is the amount of expenditure on advertisement? We already know 2.1 crores. Taxes, we already know 1.4 crores. And R&D, we already know it is 70 lakhs. So we just have to total it up. That is 2.1 crores plus 1.4 crores plus 0.7 crores. So 7 and 5 is 12. So it is 4.2 crores. There's your answer for 7.2 crores. Yes, sorry, 4.2 crores. Right? Other one? Now we go to a pie chart. Pie chart basically means that the entire area is converted into a circle. And then the sectors of the circle are constructed in such a way as the proportion to the corresponding value of the component of data. You know, a circle is 360 degrees. So the whole circle is 360 degrees. If you can cut them down into 10 pieces, then it becomes 36 degrees per sector. So now let's look at how this is used in data analysis. Now here we have a pie chart which shows the percentage of literate and illiterate males and females in a city. You can see here this is a pie chart, and this pie chart has 1, 2, 3, 4 different parts. This part refers to literate male, this part refers to literate females, this part is referring to illiterate females, and and this part to illiterate females. The total number is 2,50,000. What is the difference between the number of literate males and literate females? Okay, literate males, this one, and literate females, this one. So 35 and 33%. So difference between the number of literate males and literate females. So let's first write down literate males are 35% of 2,50,000. Illiterate males are 24% of 2,50,000. Literate females are 33% of 2,50,000. And illiterate females are 8% of 2,50,000. Okay. So 35% of 2,50,000 is how much? 35 divided by 100 into 2,50,000. That is 87,500 literate males. 60,000 illiterate males, that is 24% of 2,50,000. 33% of 2,50,000, 82,500. Again, for all this, use the same formula, 35 by 100 into 2,50,000. This is 24 by 100 into 2,50,000. This is 33 by 100 into 2,50,000. And next one is 8 by 100 into 2,50,000. So 8% of 2,50,000, that is 20,000. Once we have these numbers, what is the question? Question is difference between literate males and literate females. Literate males is 87,500. Literate females is 82,500. Difference between these two is 5,000. So answer is 5,000. Next one. Now we have a larger graph here. Circle graph or a pie chart which shows the spending of a country on various sports, including during a particular year. You have to study the graph carefully and answer these questions. So this is the graph where you have 36. These are all in degrees: 36 degrees, 45 degrees, 50 degrees, 81 degrees, 63 degrees, 54 and 31 degrees. Makes it a full circle of 360 degrees. What is the total spending spent on tennis? What do we do? Tennis is what? Tennis is 45. 45 by 360. 360 degrees is the total area of the circle. So 45 divided by 360. So that makes it 12.5%. Or as given here, it is 12.5%. So that's the answer. How much percent more is spent on hockey than on golf? First we have to find out hockey. Hockey is 63 by 360. That is 17.5%. And golf. Golf is 36 by 360, so that is 10%. The question is, how much percent more is spent on hockey than that on golf? So 17.5 minus 10 divided by 10, so that is 7.5 by 10, that is 75% more. How much more percent is spent? That is 75% more. Next, how much percent less is spent on football than on cricket? So cricket is spending is 81 by 360 and football is 54 by 360. So let's get the percentages there. 81 by 360, that is 22.5% of the total spending, and 54 by 360, that is 15% of the total spending. Difference between these two is 7.5%. Question is not how much more, question is how much less. So that is 15 minus 22.5 divided by 22.5. Because question is not how much more. If it was question was how much more, I would have done 22.5 minus 15 by 15. So this is what? Minus 7.5 divided by 22.5. And that works out to 33% less. There you have 33 and 1/3% less. It's actually 33.333, so that is 33 and 1/3% less. Yeah. Question number 14, if the total amount spent on sports during the year was 2 crores, that means the whole pie is 2 crores, the amount spent on cricket and hockey together was how much? On cricket, we saw earlier it is 22.5%, on hockey it is 63 divided by 360, so that is 17.5%. So what we have to do is 17.5% plus 22.5%, that makes it 40%. So 40% of 2 crores, that is 80 lakh rupees. B. Now if the total amount spent on sports during the year is 1 crore 80 lakhs, then the amount spent on basketball exceeds tennis by. Okay. So first we will take basketball. Let's see what is the ratio of basketball. What is that? 50 out of 360. That makes it 13.88%. 13.8%. And the percentage spent on tennis is 45 by 360. So 45 divided by 360 is 12.5%. Difference 13.88 minus 12.5%, that is the difference that is being asked. So 13.88 minus 12.5, that makes it 1.38% of 1 crore 80 lakhs. So we have 1 crore 80 lakhs. One crore 80 lakhs into 1.38%, that makes it 1.388888%, so that makes it 2,50,000. That's the answer. 15A. line graphs are plotted on a two-dimensional plane. There is one horizontal and a vertical axis. The candidate is required to look at the line and answer questions. Now let's see how it works. We have a question here. In a school, the periodical exams are held every second month in a session during April 2001 to March 2002. A student of class 9 appeared for each of these periodical exams. Aggregate marks obtained by him in each periodical exams are represented in a line graph given below. Study the graph and answer the questions. These are the total marks taken by the student in the exams. Maximum marks are 500. The total number of marks obtained in February 2002 is what percent of the total marks obtained in April 2001? So what is the total? What did he score in February 2002? How much more he has scored? So that is 405 by 360. That makes it 405 divided by 360. That is 112.5%. So 112.5%. That is what? B. Next question is, what are the average marks obtained by the student in all the periodical exams during the session? Average marks obtained by the student in all periodical exams during the session. So what we have to do? We have to find the average of all this. That is 360, 365, 370, 385, 400 and 405. We add up all of those and divide it by number of observations, that is 6. So you get 381. Actually, you get something like 380.83. To 85, that is the total. This can be approximated to 381. Next question is, what is the percentage of marks obtained by the student in periodical exams of August 2001 and October 2001 taken together? Okay, what did he score in August 2001? This is April, this is June, this is August, this is October, this is December, and this is February. Percentage of marks obtained in August was 370 by 500. That makes it 74%. October is 385 by 500. So 385 divided by 500 into 100. That is 77%. You add up both of these, that becomes 151 divided by 2. So that is 75.5%. What is the answer? The answer is B, 75.5%. As compared to the previous examinations, what has happened? Every time he has scored higher than the earlier marks. So there is no question of any fall in the percentage of marks. So that is none. Which periodical exam did the student obtain the highest percentage increase in the marks over the previous periodical exams? Highest percentage increase. Highest percentage increase can also mean highest number of marks increase straight away. And in this case, there are two. From 370 he went to 385, and from 385 he went to 400. But the difference here is supposed to be more than the difference here. I will show you how that works. The highest difference is 15 marks, so 385 minus 370 divided by 370 is 1% increase. The other percentage increase is 400 minus 385 by 385. Instead of doing all the calculations, only 2 would be sufficient to get to the answer. So 15 divided by 370, this percentage is 4.05% increase, and 15 divided by 385 is 3.89% increase. So percentage increase has happened in October 2001. That is October 2001. Says the following line graph gives the ratio of amounts of imports by a company to the amount of exports from that company over the period of 95 to 2001. And then there are the questions. These are the ratio of import to export: 0.65, 0.85, 0.35, and so on. So in how many of the given years were the exports more than imports? When will exports be more than imports? When imports are less than exports, right? And if imports are less than exports, you will have less than 1. If exports are less, then you will have more than 1. So how many times exports where the denominator was larger? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That's the answer. The next question: the imports were minimum proportionate to exports of the company in the year. In the year which year? That is 1997. The minimum imports were 0.35. If the imports of the company in 1996 were 272 crores, exports from the company in 96 was, so you have import by export in 1996 at 0.85, and what are the imports at that time? It was 272 crores. So 0.85 is nothing but 272 crores by how much? So if 0.85 is 272, then 1 is how much? So that is 272 into 1 by 0.85. So 272 divided by 0.85. That makes it 320 crores. There is the answer. 3. Now what was the percentage increase in imports from 97 to 98? So 97 imports and 98 imports. 97 was 0.35, imports upon exports was 0.35 in 97. So 1998 was import upon export was 1.25. So question is, by what percentage did the imports grow from 97 to 98? What is the data given? Data that is given is import upon export. So you know, if you have 35% imports in 97, 125% imports in 98. If there is no base, there is no way of finding out the percentage increase. So obviously this doesn't work. So none of this data inadequate is the correct answer for this. Last one, if the imports in 98 was 250 crores and the total exports of the year 98 and 99 together were 500 crores, then imports in 99 was. So let's look at this. 98 imports was 250 crores. 98 we already have it here. So 1.25 is nothing but 250 crores. So 1 is how much? That is export. So exports were 200 crores. This is imports, this is export in 1998. Total exports for the year, the imports were 98 and total exports for the year 98 and 99 together was 500 crores. Export is 200 crores in 98. So in 99 it is obviously going to be 500 minus 200, that will be 300 crores. So next, then the imports in 99 was, what is the import upon export in 1999? It was 1.4. If 1 is 300 crores, 1.4 is how many? So that's as simple as that. So 300 into 1.4, 420 is the import for 1999. So this is D, 420. So that ends the data interpretation. What we did was we looked at tabulation, we looked at bar graphs, we looked at pie charts, and then lastly we looked at line charts. All the best for your PGCET examinations.